Hey there guys and gals, this is my first video for a new concept or a new idea I've got going. This is Android Guardian's recommended reading. So I'm a huge gamer and I love games, and it's actually my love of games that got me into reading. I spent a short time working at a used bookstore, and while I was there, I actually got to see a few different books, and of course, at the time I didn't really read. I read while I was there because I had a book to pick up and just read, and it was okay. But one day I walked in and I saw, up in the science fiction areas, 5 books from a series of a game I played, except the books are what created the game, and I played the game first. So when I had played the game and really enjoyed it, I'm like, oh, I should pick up these books. And it was $2 a hardcover, and it's 5 books, so for $10 I got myself quite a lot of books, and I dove right in. The books I'm talking about in this case are of the series Dune. So not Doom, D-O-O-M, but Dune, D-U-N-E, like a sand dune. It's really old science fiction, so as an example, if you're a fan of Star Trek or Star Wars, both of those pull lovingly from Dune. Dune is older than them. The people who made those series would have read Dune growing up, or likely read Dune growing up. If you're old enough or just aware enough to know of the Tremors movies, the worms in Tremors are based off of worms from Dune, except the ones in Dune could swallow an entire boat. Oh, did I say boat? Sorry. An entire, large boat, maybe even some of them an aircraft carrier. Give an idea. So they were big. I love the series. It's full-on high science fiction. It's got politics. It's got romance. It's got intrigue. It's got action. Good action. I love the series, and there's a lot of books in this series. So to give an idea, I don't have every book, and I've got at least 12, 13 books in the series, and I'm still missing books in that series. And they're not small books. The warning I give to anyone that decides to go and read them, they are not family-friendly, but they are also not excessively gory or excessively, sexual. There's little bits in there, but it's woven into a very well-written story, and it's not there for the sake of, hey, guess what, look what we put in this book. It's a part of the story. It makes sense when it shows up. It's well-written, and it's something that I would say anyone that truly enjoys reading or enjoys science fiction, 15, 16 or older, can really get into. Younger than that, it's really a person-by-person basis. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone younger, but if you're a parent and you think of this for your child and you think they're ready for something like that, it's definitely an amazing series of reading. And so this segment I'm going to do is going to be recommending books, and I'm going to start mainly with books that are related to games, and then I'll breach out into things that I've read that weren't related to games or that I consider worth reading. At least initially, they're all going to be books that I have read, and then at some point there'll be books I'm looking at reading that I just haven't gotten to yet. This video, because it's more of an introductory, is not going to have an actual main book that I'm recommending. I mentioned Dune because it's what got me into it, and that's why I think of this stuff. But it's definitely, the series is going to be focusing on books. I'm not going to do multiple books from a series unless they're different enough or they're about a different enough thing that I can feel that I'm not just rehashing the same thing for a video. So I've explained the very basics of Dune, basic premise on it, science fiction, much in the future, much in the future. To give you an example, the oldest point in Dune that is shown in books is still thousands of years after now. Well, I shouldn't say thousands. Oh no, yeah, thousands, yeah. So it's the oldest book in the series is still a few thousand years off of where we are now, and the main books in the series are thousands of years from that, and they actually span 1,000 or so years. So it's a big series, and without ruining anything, there are some characters that show up in multiple books across that time span. I won't explain it, I won't go into it for you, that way it's not ruined, but it's really interesting. It's very well written. The original series were done by Frank Herbert. He's an old science fiction author, and when I say old, I mean like he's long since passed on, and his son is already much older than I am. And so the original books are written by Frank Herbert. His son, Brian Herbert, teamed up with another author, Kevin J. Anderson. If you read a lot, you'll know those names relatively well. They teamed up based on the stories that Frank said or taught us or read to his sons, and memoirs that left over, wrote more books. My personal preference on the two as writers, I find Frank was better with the politics. He was better with the character description. That's not to say that his son is doing a bad job. His son's doing a very good job, but I find that Frank did a better job explaining things in the political side of things, as well as in the nuances of explaining a character, both their motivations and their visuals. I'm not saying that everyone will picture a specific character the exact same way because of it, but you will get a same kind of perception of who you think that character is. whereas his son, I find, does the action better. The action is more to script. It is a bit more violent, but it's more to script in the son's books than what it was in Frank's books. So they each do their things their own way. But the story does feel good, no matter who's writing it in this case, the son or the father. They're both really, really well done. There's a lot of books in the series. Most now have been done by the son because the father got, I believe, 4 to 5 books out before he passed on, and there's been like 7 or 8 books done by the son and Kevin D. Anderson. Definitely something to take a look into. But yeah, that was Dune. This is Android Guardian's recommended reading, and hopefully we'll get some more videos out. Take care.